Hey everyone, welcome to the stream. Can you hear me okay? I believe my audio settings are good. Alright. We're just kind of continuing where we left off with the other stream. Continue working on my character. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to use the chat. And I'm probably just going to stream for like an hour, maybe an hour and a half, depends kind of how things go today. In that case, we'll get started. So the first thing I was actually going to do is tweak his hoodie a little bit. So I'm going to make it a bit wider and see if I can like get a fold on it a little bit. So let's go ahead and do that. For reference image, I'm going to click here for a moment. I'll do this in sculpt mode. It just kind of pulls this out a little bit. Not that. Okay. And kind of one of those things where like because we modeled it directly, not really modeling the folds too much. Much simpler art style. But I think what I'm going to try to do is at least add like a little bit of a ridge on the side here. So I'm going to pull this out a bit more too. A bit more space. Kind of play it by ear. And make it a bit wider up here as well. Make a little bit of a fold. I don't know all the sculpt mode shortcuts, so I just use the toolbar. Changes to Mac might work better. Or like freeze. Now, one thing I was thinking, if I wanted to do like more details, this is probably where like I would use like the sculpting or retopologizing method. Um, Although I'm not super experienced with that. I know there are plenty of artists that are. Um, I ended up doing this way just because things were simpler anyway. There might be a point where I'll kind of experiment with that a bit more and try to get it to like look good one day. But for now, I think this is okay. Yeah, let me expand this out a bit more. That's something. A little bit of there we go. Okay. Look at it now. Change back studio here. Okay, I think that's a little better. I could even, if I wanted to, change the direction of the fold. Maybe not waste too much time here, but yeah, I could do something. Yeah, that's fine. And then the pants should be okay. Maybe I can make it a little bit wider. Oops, this a little bit. Just have to be careful with the mirror modifier and the flipping because it tends to try to snap. I'll just do that a little bit. All right. I don't want to waste too much time with tweaks here. I could do this forever. But let me see. last time we did the hood, um, needs some details on, needs the strings as well. So if I hide everything for a second, yeah, I can add the zipper and the little strings. So let's do that. Actually, so we can get a little creative here. I'm gonna be lazy and just take face right here and duplicate it. And we'll make this the zipper. Separate it. Zipper. Bit. Oops. Zipper. Something. Oh. Okay, it did it backwards. That's fine. This is going to be the hoodie. Or this is going to be a zipper. This is the hoodie. Sometimes that happens. Right. And then I should probably move this up here. Screw it out a little bit too. Yeah. So I think the way I'm going to do this, so I'll apply the mirror modifier for a sec. And I'll take these two here and inset it to make the hole. And I'll delete the face. Nothing too fancy here. Yeah, see, that looks fine. Yeah, and I'll also make this split here. Honestly, I don't think we need to get too crazy about it. I did notice that my image is a bit off center. I'm going to fix that now. Apparently, I also duplicated that. Yeah, let me fix the image real quick. Front image. What part of the character is this? Just doing the zipper on his jacket right now. Nothing too special. Getting this one knocked out for now. Then we'll move on to the strings on the hoodie as well. Thank you for joining, by the way. Go ahead. Go ahead and do, let's bring the hoodie back real quick. Move the zipper back into place as well. I'm going to also flatten it. There we go. Get out a little bit as well. Yeah. Good. Let's bring the hood back as well. It should be connected to it. Yeah, that should be good. And on the hood itself, I'm just going to move closer. gotta make the strings. I'm gonna do basically the same process here. I'll take a piece of the hoodie, right? Take like this shifty and separate it. This here is called string. And then what I'm basically gonna do is just make it a couple, extrude down a couple vertices based on the reference here. And I think I can use a modifier to give thickness, like a solidify or something. We'll mess with that in a moment. Let me grab a string. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And also move this. And move it like this. Skin modifier, that's it. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I'll use. Cool. Oh boy. Let me see. I think that was it. Let me try. I must be doing something wrong here. I don't usually use a skin modifier that much. I could convert it to a curve, maybe. Let's do that. Convert to curve. And I'll go ahead and give it a bevel object. So let's just give it a little bit. There we go. Make it really small. Yeah, it's pretty good actually. Control A to shrink. Okay. That's cool. I think this is okay for now though. And then I will go ahead and what's the radius on this thing? Whoa, too much. Well, maybe 2. Okay, and then I'm going to convert it to a mesh now. And we'll just take this edge here as 0 and move it. Also do the same thing. One more, kind of do like this. I'll just delete this mirror. I don't usually do the mirror this way, but yeah, I'll just do the mirror modifier. Let me add a little bit more resolution to this as well. Right there. Smooth it out as well. That looks better. Shade smooth as well. There we go. Don't want to add too many polygons on the string. That should be okay for the time being. Yeah, see, that looks better now. so a couple of things we'll have to do. Now is we'll have to do the hair. I don't think I did the eyelashes either. Did I? Oh, they're done. They just look a little weird. See the shoes. Look at the shoes on the reference. They're really just dead simple. I'm just gonna take part of the foot mesh and just duplicate it. And we'll use that. So I think what I'm gonna try to do is give them some like laces or something. Let's take a look at the reference. It's just really simple. Nothing special. What we can do. I'll hide the pants real quick. You take these here, and then we can inset it a little bit to give it a little section where we put like the buckles and stuff. Here, I'll crease this as well. A little hard to see. Actually, you know what? Yeah. I'll hide the body as well. That's easier. We'll have to move this out. Another thing I can do, I can extrude it as well. Now we got like a little bit of a indent here. And what we can do is we could probably make like a couple laces, nothing fancy. I'm just gonna duplicate this. Might be too much detail, but why did I pick Godot? Well, there's a couple motivations behind Godot. I picked up Godot back in 2020 when I was actually starting to get back into game development, and I really like the fact that it's open source. And I also really like the fact that it's up and coming. So I wanted to try to like be part of a community and contribute to a game on an up and coming engine. That just really appealed to me. Um, So that's why I went with it. It's honestly pretty good too, and I've used Unity before. I barely touch Unreal Engine, but Godot to me just felt the most intuitive, like from a user experience perspective. I've also had a number of problems with Unity back in the day when I was making a 2D platformer game, and it just soured me. So I just stuck with Godot. I do really like Godot. It's not perfect by any means, but it's I do like it quite a bit. So I'm pretty happy with it so far. Too. Positioning them. Right. Well, what I'll do is I'll go into sculpt mode here. Okay, places. This is coming out actually kind of decent. Never really done this before, but I can complain about it. I'm gonna have to. I'll go ahead and move. Yeah, I could have done it as a texture. I will say, the method I'm using the texture, you'll see in a bit. I might get to it tonight, depending on how long it takes to do the hair. Um, we actually, I actually like don't. Um, I was gonna say, I don't actually like texture paint really. I just make like squares on a single texture with just like colors, and then I just move the UV maps there. It's more of a temporary thing because while my character designs evolve, I don't particularly want to spend like so much time doing texture painting. Um, Plus, I also do like the benefit of the small texture and also just like not having to worry about making the UV maps so like intricate or anything like that. So it's really just a conscious decision that I made at this time. Although I think when the game becomes more polished at some point, I would look into like actually doing like actual texture paints and stuff like that too. Um, make it better. But this will get the job done for now. Get shoelaces. There. Calculate outside. Yeah, that's pretty good. But that's fine. This will get the job done for now. Let's go ahead. Lace. That goes on the shoe. I can actually just Control J. And let's go back to the shoe for a sec. Also gonna on the bottom here fill this out a little bit. And we'll go ahead and do like a little. Hey, thank you for joining the stream. Just making shoes now. They're really not fancy shoes at all. Let me also mark this in here. Okay. I'll move this forward. There we go. I think that's good enough for now. Any favorite artists of mine? I assume you mean like 3D artists or just like 2D artists. You know, I'm not really an artist by trade. I've learned how to do this just so I can kind of like make things on my own, and it's for my games as well. So I don't really study art nearly as much as I probably should. I don't really have specific favorite artists, but like there are some YouTubers I like. Royal Skies is the one that helped me a lot when I was learning this. There's other ones too, like Yan Sculpts, Pixelica, CG are pretty good as well. Alright, so we do shoes. Bring everything back. You know, I'm gonna make the shoe just a tad bigger as well. Just for flair. It looks like it might be going past the origin point here. I'll worry about that later. Okay, so we have to tackle the hair, which is going to be interesting to say the least. Got a lot of strands on here, so I'll try to think. I would like to simplify it if I can. Really, it's kind of just to be more like a kind of curly, disheveled type hair look. If I hit this, you can kind of see it. So I'm trying to think how I want to start this. I think maybe we'll do it layer by layer. We'll work like bottom up, maybe. We can do it with some curves. Well, it's not necessary. But I'll do curves. Okay, so let's do this. Shift A, had a Bezier curve. Call this hair. I'm gonna shrink it down real good. I'm also just gonna flatten it as well. And with the hair curve, you get a curve tool. Lower the resolution preview, maybe like 2. Then we're going to do a bevel object. But before I do that, let's actually go ahead. Move it up here. Start kind of like the lower strand of hair. Oh, you know what? It's because this is like 2 points, isn't it? Okay. Subdivide it once. And then I'm going to set up the sorry. Circle, right? And if we use this, this can be the bevel. Hair bevel. Right. If I go to hair, do the curve here, I can make a bevel object. So yes, this is going to be very large at the moment, but we will shrink this down. Typically, what I like to do is when I make the hair, I just kind of like make like a shape like this. We'll lower the resolution as well. Good. You can see that it actually like changes shape here. I'll actually shrink this down specifically that too. If we move it to where the location is, go a little bit too. Won't sweat too much of it being too blocky at the moment. Just kind of do it this way for now and just see how it comes out. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add a mirror modifier to it. And we could just continue duplicating the strands. Quick drag real quick. A little bit. Kind of just make it like a bit out, go out a bit more. So I'm just going to repeat this basically. Basically repeat this around until I get basically all the way around the head. And we can tweak this later, it's no big deal. So one thing if you notice here on the back, oh, let me get my code. One thing in the back here, it's kind of like a mullet in a way. I'm gonna try to capture that energy. You know what? I might have to be a bit closer. This one should kind of pointing. I want to get the trajectory right. Honestly, you don't really need to match the reference perfectly here. One more should do the trick. Down. Oh. Scale this well. That. It's somewhat decent. You know it. Hey, thanks for joining, and no problem. I'm glad the complete tutorial was helpful. Yeah, I know I'm not like an artist by trade, but one of my things is that I just like to share information I learned. I really want to just put together something that could like help somebody, you know, who may be potentially struggling like with bits and pieces of like getting a whole character together. Because when I was learning, there were like little things here and there that just like I was like, huh, how do you do this? Like, especially with the rigging, like I spent a lot of time messing around with different rigs and stuff like that. And eventually, I just found a workflow that like I got to work. So that's why I wanted to share that. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. Let's do one more here. Overlapping a little bit. Overlaps a little bit. We'll clean it up later. do the bangs last. But how does this look so far? It's kind of atrocious. It's not too bad actually. Not too many polygons. Worse. So I think we're just basically going to duplicate this and make another layer, basically. Let's save this. Yeah, I'll actually just duplicate the entire hair strand here. Put it up a little bit. Kind of like this. And then I want to take the ends, flare them out a little bit. Try to reference a little bit. So that. The layers. And a bit wider. And if I do one more layer around the top, I'll have to get the back ones here too. Well, we'll do one more layer for the top. I'll just kind of rotate it. So, and I will just take the middles here. Effect I was looking for. Okay. I'm actually just going to remove the back ones here. Here, that necessary third layer here. got these. I'm just gonna create a collection and put them in there. Put it back up. For now. I'm just going to join all these. Convert it to mesh. Now I'm just going to do some sculpting, clean this up. Let's add the subdivision surface modifier as well. See how this comes out. So just kind of mess with it a little bit. Back the head as well, make that shape more. And just basically playing around with this. Now we gotta edit. Okay, so here's what I'll do here. I'm actually just going to reapply the mirror modifier, so I'm just going to delete the whole right side here. Oh, the wrong one. Sometimes it selects what I don't want. Okay. Just being a little careful here because sometimes I select. This is. So we'll actually leave that. Clean that up in a moment here. I know what I can do. So I go here and I X-ray. Hard to see, but I can highlight the sides like that. I'll just clean up. Okay, yeah, see, this is just the. painstaking, but okay. Okay, yeah, because there's a little bit of overlap here. Um, actually do this. Combine it. Looks like there's also okay. So I'm gonna go ahead, re-add the mirror modifier. I'm sure there's better ways to do this, but this is the way it's gonna work for now. I probably could even simplify some of the strands here. And we can enable clipping. A bit here. I'm going to go ahead and remove some vertices by distance. Looks like there's like an extra loop here too that we have to get rid of. Okay, and then let me also move these inside as well. tweak it up a little bit as well. More. Like, find this. Look at overlapping. Solve edge. So that works. Alright, for a minute. Okay. Kind of high as far as vertices go. I could probably get away with removing inside here. Okay, it worked. And the ones at the top here are a bit more necessary. Like a edge here. And I'm going to also do these tips. I know this is a little bit boring. I apologize. Not really much I can do though, but I'm just kind of making adjustments here. Put these a little bit out. Close them, but that right now. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and just convert this to a mesh. So I have more geometry to work with while we're in sculpt mode. And we'll have to see how I can clean this one up a bit more. then you'll need bangs in the front as well. We'll see how it looks basically once we get the texturing done. I think I might also simplify it too. There's like too many strands on there. Like I could probably like combine these two, basically in these two. Same with like these two. So I did this, right? I moved it and just made it bigger, right? That could still work. I did this one as well. Then I would just kind of clean up the looks like I accidentally deleted some of it here. That's okay, I'll just take this side. This. Mirror it. Crap. Good turn. Here. I just move it right here. And I think I can delete. Hold on a sec. Select. There is a way I could find loose parts. Loose geometry. Okay. And yet again, I know this kind of annoying, but I am going to just reapply the mirror since I've made some changes to it. Look at it from here as well. Like, yeah, I got some garbage here. Oh. I'll just actually redo that one. this one I kind of want to curve down for reference. There's a little bit of one points out, one points in. This guy right here. But, and then, oops. But okay. This part got a little bit weird. Ever using simulations with geometry nodes to move hair. Truth be told, I've not messed with geometry nodes. I'd like to though. It's something that I'd like to learn one day. Just hasn't been something I've gotten around to. Um, so yeah, this hair is going to need to be cleaned up quite a bit, and I'll probably maybe do more work on it offline. But typically, what you do is you use the curves. It's just because he has so many like strands of hair, it was a bit more awkward to do. Um, so this one a little bit too, but well, okay. So just to wrap things up here for tonight, looks like I'll have to do some more work on the hair to make it look better. But what we can do for the time being um, is we can apply a toon shader to it. So what I'll do is I'll just import it from one of my other files, the material. I'm not sure if I actually did that. And then I'll just kind of briefly show you the nodes. And material. We're going to do the main and the outline. If I click main, actually, all of them are going to have main. I'll just select them all for now. So don't worry too much about the coloring here. We'll fix that. But if we go to the editing, using a texture from the other file, so we don't want to do that. So I'm just going to clear them. I think they should go away now. Yep, there we go. So we'll just make a blank texture. And you'll see, like with this texturing method I do, you can get away with a really small texture. It's actually kind of hilarious. So like I can do 32 by 32, and we'll make it white. A new image, and then basically I'll just paint color quadrants on it later. Let's go ahead and save this. Let's save as base. There we go. And then if I go to UV editing, we'll just let them, make the quadrants. But for now, let's go to the shading. Don't really see much. Go to main. Sometimes this gets out of view. Okay. So there's some more advanced stuff here, but all you need to worry about right now, just put the base texture in here. The ambient occlusion texture is just going to be the base texture for now as well. And we'd probably just give it like a little bit of shading. Actually, you know what? I'll just delete this node and we'll make it like a gray. Yeah, that's better. And I'm going to do scene light and scene world. I don't think I actually have any lights in the scene, so let's fix that. Do a sun and move kind of like this. Yeah. And yep, that. Go back to our shader. Basically, in Blender, a toon shader is driven by a color ramp, basically. But you have to, with geometry nodes and Bezier curve, you can directly draw the hair. Oh, that's pretty neat. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. It was easier for me to visualize the hair on the female character, but on the male character, I was like not sure how to incorporate all the strands the same way. But yeah, I'll have to look into that. Because in a way, I actually kind of wanted to like make my character designs have like simplified hair, um, so to have less detail than normal like anime style type characters. Oh yeah, there is a Discord. Check my channel. I have links there. Um, I appreciate it. Um, yeah, so the shader here, you usually just have to convert it to an RGB, use like a regular alt diffuse, and then there's this color ramp. This part here is just so we had like a bit more control over it. Like we can paint, like I added a little bit of shader logic here so we can do custom shadows. I'm not sure if you'll really see it here, but I think it's probably showing up wrong because if I go to vertex paint here, so I had to do a vertex paint. Okay, yeah. That makes sense. I'll show you how the custom shadows work in a second. But I had to initialize the vertex colors, it looks like. That's why they're not all showing up. But if I go back to like the hoodie, for example, I can go to vertex paint, and if I paint black, I can paint like some custom shadows. Now it doesn't really look great here because the topology doesn't really like account for it, but it is a thing that you can do. And I did it like with this method so that I could have the flexibility of just the simple coloring. Typically, what you would do is you'd actually just paint the shadows on your texture directly. But this was just like a little extra thing that I added. It works. If the topology was more optimized for it, it would work better. But let's go back to. Go ahead and go back to the shader so we'll talk about it more. Got the color ramps, yeah. And what I did that's a bit different than other toon shaders is typically you have a toon shader, it's just like this constant, like hard shadow here. I actually blended it with a soft shadow so that there's a primary hard shadow, but there's also a soft shadow that just kind of adds a little bit more accent to it. And I just did that by combining these two color ramps with a mix node. More of a personal preference. Ultimately, when you make your characters, you just kind of decide how you want them to look. You go back. Then what I also did is, yeah, the base and the ambient occlusion. So the ambient occlusion really is just like what color are the shaded areas. And all I really do is just take the color ramp, and this just basically outputs a black or white color. And then we mix it with the base and ambient occlusion colors to like replace the black and white. And then I also added a bit of Fresnel, so like on the outside you should be able to see like right here, there's some Fresnel here. And then I just made the Fresnel the base color instead of like making it a white. So it kind of has an interesting look to it. There's really not much else to it. To be fair, I also, with the vertex colors, we have it so we can control some parameters. Like for example, when we add the outline, I add the outline weights to the red channel so that we can actually program the shader in the game engine to look at the red channel with the vertex color and use the outlines to add weight to it. So like rather than having the outline be a constant like size everywhere. Pretty useful technique. And the green channel is just our custom shadows. The blue channel is for like Fresnel strength, but I haven't really used it. Either way, it's just like free. Regardless of how you do your texturing, I still think it's a good idea, generally speaking, to utilize the vertex colors if you can, because you can configure a lot of stuff in your shaders to leverage it, and it's kind of just free. I wouldn't say free exactly, but it certainly feels that way. So yeah, let me go ahead and apply the materials to everything else. At the end, we're actually going to join everything into a single mesh anyway. Hit vertex paint, each one. And then now at least we have like the shading. Let's see kind of how the hair looks too. Like it doesn't look too bad. Needs bangs though. And then we'll fix the face shading as well. And the eyes and eyelashes and everything like that. So I think in the next time, can you show the side panel of the character? You mean like this? Or like the side reference image? Yes, he absolutely does. That's by design. Um, the funny thing about this character is he's kind of like a dork. He's a nerd from Earth, and he gets kind of sent into this new world, and he's like out of shape, but he's also just a very positive guy. Um, but he does kind of learn the hard way about certain realities. Um, he's not very fit, but at the same time, he tries to be a hero. So I thought it was a it's a bit out there, but I thought it was interesting because it relates to me a little bit. Um, I also wanted to stray away in a sense to like typical like male protagonist look. Like it's kind of hard in a way to the keep it from looking like a generic male anime protagonist. So I wanted to find ways to make him unique. So on the next time, I'll have to clean up this hair. Maybe I'll do it offline. Um, but on the next time, we'll work more on texturing him. We'll finish up the facial features, and then we can work on texturing him and adding a little bit more color to it. I also have to give him glasses too, because that's actually part of the character design. So if I hit all of it, you can see the glasses as well. And then we just have to do some more like flares to maybe his nose and stuff too. So I'm gonna head out. Thank you everyone who's joined. I appreciate you coming in. I hope you learned something and hope you enjoyed the stream. Not really as entertaining as say playing a video game, but I do appreciate you coming in. So have a nice rest of your day and enjoy your weekend. Thank you guys.